favorite people, Rick and Keith. Woohoo! Glad to see you both here. Makes my heart so happy. And I love seeing Denny and Karen also. Yes, I do. Muting out, ladies and gents.
All
I hope every
right.
I hope everybody's having a great day. Good to have you here.
Okay. Good to have everybody here. Yes, absolutely. Good to have Keith with us today, doing somewhat better. The voice, if you'll hear him, it's a little bit on the raspy side. And so he's going to kind of sit back most of the time today. He might speak up. You never know, but let him
Hard,
know that it's
it's hard
it's
for me to keep my
okay.
mouth shut. You know how it is.
It is. It would be difficult for me as well.
As long as
But
Andy Andy doesn't throw tomatoes at the screen, I guess we're
yeah.
okay.
Isn't there one of those rating things that rotten tomatoes? That's what it is.
That's it.
Yes, indeed. So thank you everyone for being here on this beautiful Saturday morning, a hot Saturday morning. We have set records here in Arizona for the hottest summer in recorded history. I don't know what it's like where you're at, but yeah, we've indeed set some records. We've let's see, yesterday I believe it was the hottest day on record for yesterday was 1950, if I remember right. It was 116 degrees, and we met that record yesterday. So for that day in September, that would have been the 6th of September. Yeah, hottest day on record. So uh not sure what's going on in your world, but we'll find out as we go along. And it's just a pleasure to have everybody here with us on the call today. So we're going to go ahead and get things rolling. We're actually going to be packaging this particular session and making a special recording. So I know some of the recent elements of virtual selling that we have done have not been published out there on the net. This one will be. It will also be published on the YouTube channel of the Ahwatukee Chamber of Commerce, because this is actually a repeat. In fact, let me go ahead and get my slides going here so that that becomes something that all of you can see. And I will go ahead and hit the screen sharing and share. And we will go for, let's see, screen. We'll get that one right there and share that. Okay, so today's presentation, so that you are aware, is 3 simple steps to start building your brand and cultivating customers on Facebook. Things that you can actually do today, assuming you've got the time. So, I was thinking about time just the other day and realized, you know what? You can find more things to do, but you can't find more time. You decide, you know what? I think I'm going to take up this hobby, or I'm going to go get this part-time job, or whatever it is you decide to do. No one magically says, oh, okay, then yeah, we better just stuff some more hours into your clock or stuff more days into your calendar. It doesn't happen. That stays static. It stays the same. So you've got to find ways to leverage other people's time, or there's no other way to make more of it. You've got to use it more efficiently. You've got to decide, okay, I'm not doing this over here. So don't do what we all do some point in our lives and just try and stuff too much into it. Figure out what you're going to not do, who else is going to do it. Stay sane. So But with that, we're going to go into 3 simple steps to start building your brand and cultivating customers on Facebook. So if you're going to do this, that does mean, based on the statements we've just made about time, what you need to do is look at your calendar. And as Keith has taught many times on the elements of virtual selling, you've got to time block. You've got to say, okay, if I'm going to participate in this activity, if I'm going to do these 3 simple steps, when? What's the time slot or time slots during the week where I'm going to perform this activity? And then there's got to be a stop to that. You might decide, well, you know what? I really didn't get done. Do I keep going, or do I cut it off here and say next time slot? So those are decisions you're going to have to make. But these are going to be steps that are not hard to do, depending on what you're used to, the skill sets, the things that you've attempted in the past. So you can decide whether they're easy to do or not. But for those of you who are on Facebook, you do have an account, they should be things that you can do. So let me talk just a little bit now about the things that we're doing here. First of all, I want to mention that this presentation was originally done live for the Ahwatukee Chamber of Commerce and the Power Partners at an event that they do once a month. Typically, it's on the 4th Monday of the month. It's done live at the Native Grill and Wings in Ahwatukee. Ahwatukee, for those who don't know, is a suburb of Phoenix. So those of you familiar with that in that area, you'd be welcome to attend those. Now, one caveat, in September, it's going to be the 5th Monday instead. We typically don't do that, but this month it will be. So if anybody's listening to the replay of this later on, in 2024, the September Idea Factory presented by the Ahwatukee Power Partners and Ahwatukee Chamber of Commerce is going to be on the 5th Monday, which is the 30th of September. So with that said, the original of this presentation was August. That was August 26th. And we're recording this especially because, well, the recording didn't come out real well for that session. So we're going to record it here. So I just wanted to make sure we got the Ahwatukee Chamber and Power Partners mentioned in there. So are you ready to dive in? If you're ready to dive in, go ahead and put in the chat, yes, dive in. Let me know that you are ready to go and that you're on board here. All right. And I'm going to bring up my chat window so I can see what y'all are saying. All righty. Good. All right. We've got some folks that are ready. Dive. Right. What show was that, Keith? Let's see. I think that was before your time. Let's see,
50,000 leagues. Was that
Yeah,
50,000
50,000 Leagues Under the Sea. I remember that one, but there was a TV show. And that was one of the things that they would always be saying. It was a show, one of the old World War II shows. Late 50s, early 60s, there were a lot of shows about World War II, and one of them was about submarine. I can't remember the name of that show. If somebody else knows that, type it
Sounds
into the
about
chat.
so many leagues under the sea.
Well, there was 50,000 Leagues Under the Sea, the Jules Verne storyline, but then there was also a World War II era show in the late 50s, early 60s, and it was about a submarine and life on a submarine. So at any rate, we'll go ahead and get things rolling here. So, but yes, we're going to dive in. So let's talk, first of all, about Facebook in general to make sure that everybody's on the same page, because I know people are at different skill levels, different levels of understanding of the entire Facebook DOM or the metaverse, if you will. So we'll talk about that. And I want you to know we're going to be talking about some ideas and principles that you can take away from Facebook and use it on any platform. But the specifics that we go over today are particularly going to be applicable to Facebook and Instagram, to some extent WhatsApp. All three of those are part of what we call, or what is called, in the online world today, the metaverse, which basically is the Facebook platform and its siblings. All right, so let's talk about profiles first, because if you're on Facebook, you at least have one of those, most likely, because you have to have a personal Facebook page, or profile rather. Let me get my terminology correct. You have a Facebook profile, and from that profile is where you blossom and grow everything else in your personal metaverse. So a personal profile is a place that you create. It's going to have your name attached to it, or whatever name you decide to be that day. Now, they do frown on and close accounts if you are not really the person you're signing up as. They also don't appreciate having multiple accounts under one name. And those are things that they have rules about, and they may close an account on you. So you want to be cautious there as to how you're performing, how you're doing things. Okay, let me get one of my control screens up here where I can see it as well. There we go. All right. And I'm going to make sure that I put this into the speaker view. So that's your personal profile. And you can control a lot. People complain a lot of times about lack of security on Facebook. I will tell you, they do a lot. I'm not ringing their bell or anything like that, not trying to advertise for Facebook, but they do a lot to try and make it as secure as they can for you, so that people can't steal your account, they can't break into your account, but you're a participant there too. So you've got to remember that you've got a lot of responsibility when it comes to your security. They've got a way of going through and doing a security check. They've got a checklist that you can go through and make sure that you're staying safe. A lot of people who say, well, you know what, I don't like to just put all of my personal life on Facebook. Well, you don't have to. You don't have to publish a single thing. You can simply be there as an entity, and then from that personal profile where you don't post anything at all, you can go ahead and create your professional page. Now, I'll let you know that that is another thing that you can do. You can take your personal account and you can upgrade it to a professional account. And all that means is that you are you get a little bit different treatment. You get a few more privileges, things like being able to schedule a post, being able to promote a post from your personal profile. So if you decide, you know what, I'm a public figure, I want to build a professional profile, I might want to monetize my profile. I'm going to attract a bunch of people so that I help keep people on Facebook. And when I do that, then that's going to get me paid by Facebook, because they're interested in people being on their platform. That's what they do. So if that's an interest, that's not what this program is about today, but just be aware that that's something you can do. Just like you can build a channel for YouTube, and as long as you're keeping people on that platform and they're able to advertise, they're willing to share that advertising money with you. Same thing on Facebook. So that would be a professional profile. It's still about you, and it's whoever and whatever you want to reveal about you. It doesn't have to be your kids, your dog, your family, although all those things are very popular. So it's up to you what you promote out there. All right. And then you've got a business page. Now, I'm going to make an assumption here that everybody that's on this session today is interested in doing business. They would like Facebook to bring them new customers. After all, this is 3 things that you can do today to build a brand and to get customers. So if you're not here for that, that's okay. You're welcome to stay, but that's what this program is about. And the basis of that is going to be having a Facebook business page. So we will talk about that a little bit. All righty. Now, if you do have a Facebook page, and you would maybe like people to see that in any of the notes that come along with this, we will be publishing the information that goes into the chat. So if there's anything that you don't want there, don't put it into the chat. All right. But if you've got a Facebook page and you know the URL for that, that is the www.facebook.com/something, whatever that is for you, you can go ahead and put that in the chat. And wherever we're able to publish notes for this session, we'll publish that too. So it might get you a visit or two. Who knows? We'll see. All righty. So that's a Facebook page. Facebook pages are about your entity, your whatever it is you want to promote. That could be a 501c3, it could be a church, it could be a ministry, it could be, just something that you feel passionate about. Facebook allows you to build a page based on pretty much anything you want to, as far as topics of interest. It can be about some passion that you have, a good guitar playing. And most people know that. I don't play well, but I do play. And it's nice, it's relaxing. But I could put a page up about that. I don't have such a page, but I could put one up like that. And you can do one about your business. And again, that's what we're talking about today, because there are 2 things in business that you want to do. Number 1 is to brand. My business partner, Keith, likes to talk about polishing your own apple. And that's where you've got somebody who's building a business, but it's under the auspices of yet a larger entity. They're an associate with that company. They're a distributor for a company. All of that's well and fine, but you want to make sure that you are polishing your apple, not theirs. We see this in email. Now, this has become a little more difficult in recent times, as far as having an email address that brands you, simply because the email environment from a security perspective has become much more complex. But here's where I'm talking about polishing your own apple. If you have a Yahoo email address, if your email address is a Gmail address or a Proton mail.com address, or whoever you're using, Outlook, Microsoft, whatever it might be, and you've got one of those free addresses, that's fine. You can use that, but you are branding that entity. You're branding Gmail for them, for free. So just let that sink in a little bit and think about that. Is that what you want to be doing? Yes, something to consider. So is there a way, and we're not going to talk about this here today, but is there a way that you can brand yourself, your own company? That's part of polishing your own apple. So making sure that you are building your own brand as you're out there on the internet. Okay. All right. And you're going to do that on Facebook with your business page. Now, does that mean you can't put business posts on your personal account? No, it does not mean that whatsoever. You can, pardon me, you can. In fact, you can share things from your business page to your personal account. So that is also a thing you can do. There's another entity that you can create there, and this is another one that you're going to want to just know that it exists. How you employ it and how you use it may vary depending on what your objectives are, but that's a group. Now, most of you probably belong to some kind of a group. You might belong to a Facebook group that has to do with your church, your ministry, your community. Some of you might belong to a lot of groups. You get it. Most people get invited to participate in different groups. Question is, along with your branding, do you have one that, again, it helps you brand yourself? So that's something to think about. So those are the profile types. All right. And now let's talk a little bit about some of the tools that are going to be used. All right. Because you want to create, curate, promote, and track. Well, where are you going to do that? On Facebook, it's at this address right here, business.facebook.com. And if you do not already have a meta profile, and that's what this is called a meta profile, then when you go there, you will be invited to create one. Like anything else you do online these days, you just fill in some forms. And as you do that, you're going to be creating your meta profile. Okay. So there you can create posts, you can curate posts, you can take posts that other people put out. If you're in one of those companies that you're associated with a larger entity, then you can certainly take posts that they create as long as that entity allows you to do that. And you can bring that post over. When you're doing that, you're going to want to look for ways to make sure that you are leading people to your information, to your contact information, to your site, not just that company's site. So, if you are a distributor, if you are an associate or anything of that nature with a larger company, I mean, even if you own a Pep Boys auto shop, it's like it's okay to help brand Pep Boys. They're your parent organization, but guess what? You want them to come to your shop, not to the Pep Boys down the street that you don't own. If I mean, every franchise is going to be like that. You want them at your McDonald's, not the McDonald's across town. Right? And McDonald's themselves has a big advertising budget. So you want them into your store. All right. When they're going through the drive-through, you want them talking to your employees. So that's just very, very important to make sure that if you are repurposing and reusing advertising and promotional materials that come from a larger entity that you're associated with, you are a franchisee, you are a distributor, you're an associate, you want to make sure that that is branded to you, not just sending people back to the larger company in general, using your dollars to brand them. they've got their own budget. So let them use theirs. Make sure you're branding yourself. All right. So you're going to go to business.facebook.com, and I'm going to take just a second because I see that my clock is not on. And if I don't have this on, I might talk all day. All right. So it's starting to come up. Get this clock all booted up here. So go to Facebook. If you haven't already, go to business.facebook.com, and I'm going to actually bring that up for you because we're going to be doing some things there. Let me just get right over here, and let's see, we'll go to this one first. And I'm going to bring that over into view. Okay. All righty. Is that visible on the screen for you all? Are you seeing my
We're seeing
Facebook?
We're seeing
Okay,
you. We're seeing a picture of a gal. It's
great. Great. Okay. So this is my personal account. All right. So I'm on Facebook right now, live. So what you see is what's appearing in my Facebook page. You can, see over here, I've got the normal stuff, people who have requested to be a friend, birthdays, people that I know. And by the way, I'll just say real quickly that wishing people a happy birthday when they come up like that is a good way to do two things. Number one, to go through the people who are coming up on a regular basis and making sure, is this person still alive? Is this a live Facebook profile? Because you don't want to have a bunch of profiles out there. You might have 5,000 friends, which is the limit of friends that you can have on Facebook. And maybe only 2,000 of them are people who are A, alive, and B, still using that profile. It doesn't do you any good to be friends with a profile or a person that is no longer there and active. So that's your opportunity to say, I'm just going to unfriend that person. It's not unfriendly to unfriend somebody for those reasons. So you want to just keep your profile clean. The other thing it's good for is that when it's somebody's birthday, you want to wish them a happy birthday. That's a good way, because I know you're probably just like me. You've got some people out there who are your close friends that you're Facebook friends with. And then you've got other people that you really don't know them from Adam, but they're kind of in your circle. Maybe they're fellow employees, or they work with you somehow, but you really don't necessarily know them. But if you're going to be using Facebook to market yourself or market your business, you want to make sure that you're doing things like touching people now and then in an appropriate way over the internet, so that you reach out to them and say hello. Don't just say hello. That is so old. It's so stale. People will just say hello. It's like, and they're waiting for you to respond. It's like, say something substantive, say something with value and purpose. And of course, happy birthday is one of those things. People feel good when they get wished a happy birthday. I like to be wished a happy birthday, even though I've had 72 of them now. It still makes me feel good when somebody remembers my birthday, even if I know they only remember because Facebook reminded them. All right. So let's see here. I need to put a code in. Okay, let that come up. All righty. I'm still trying to watch my time so that I don't overstep my bounds. All right. What is this? Let's just take a look at that. Okay. IKEA ARC instructions. That's cute. That would be something that when I talked about curating a post, that's what we're talking about. That's cute. to me. Most people would find that cute. So that's a post that somebody else put up. All right. Now, I belong to a group called Humor Side. And one of the things that I do regularly to make sure that people see me from time to time in a way that makes me be familiar and liked and trusted is I just find something funny to repost. It might be from one of my Facebook friends, or sometimes it's from one of these groups that I've joined. And that's kind of a cute way of thinking about the ark from the Bible is like an IKEA. Can you imagine opening all those boxes and trying to put together an ark? All right. So I don't know if IKEA uses gopher wood or not, but at any rate, that's kind of cute. So that's a post that I might say, you know what? I thought that was cute. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share that. All right. Now, in this case, I'm just sharing it on my profile, but it also says I can send this in Messenger. I could send it to WhatsApp. I could send it to a group, or I can I could share it with a Facebook page. These are all, and they're constantly changing the way this comes up. So it may come up just like this for you, or it may come up as a drop-down list to let you share it with different entities that you own, your page, your group, whatever. But this is the way it looks right now. Okay, I can share it on Twitter, if I want, or not on X, I'm sorry. Pardon me, Elon, I apologize. All right, but here's where I can say something if I want to add a comment. I can also do things like put in hashtags. Now, I've been told, have not done a bunch of research on this, but I've been told that hashtags don't have the value that they used to have. What I have not heard any of the experts say is that they don't have value at all. But some of the ways that you could use a hashtag in a case like this is I could put, for myself, I would put in Ahwatukee. All right. Because I want people from Ahwatukee to see that, because that's where I live. And as I'm branding, I don't mind branding myself in Saskatchewan, but I don't know a lot of people. Anybody here from Saskatchewan? I don't know too many people from Saskatchewan. All right. Some of you are from other places in Canada. I see in our array of folks today, but you want to put in something that basically takes your branding and concentrates it into a smaller area. And when I say smaller area, what I mean is up here. And that may be a geography. For me, Ahwatukee is my local geography. So when I am branding, I want to make sure that I almost always put the Ahwatukee hashtag in most of the things that I post, simply because I want it to gravitate to be seen by people in my community, because that's where I do most of my branding, and that's where I am best known. All right. I'm not a global entity yet, believe it or not. So I want to be branded in my community. So whatever your community is, the most local form of that. Now, Ahwatukee is not a city. It is not a town. It's not an incorporated entity. It's simply a community within the city of Phoenix. So I could put Phoenix there, but I put Ahwatukee because I'm better known in Ahwatukee than I am, let's say, just north of the mountain I'm pointing. It's right over there, all right? And I'm actually looking out my window, and if I stood up, I could see that mountain. And that's between us here in Ahwatukee and the rest of Phoenix. So I'm better known south of the mountain, right? So I put in Ahwatukee. So that's part of that branding, that culling things down, if you will. All righty. And that's important to do as you're branding yourself. So that's where I would go ahead and I would put in some hashtags that are, uh, you know, appropriate to this. I could put in, for instance, and you notice how I'm going to put in Bible humor. All right, look at there. It's already a hashtag. 10,000 posts have that hashtag in it. So that's kind of popular. Good. I'm going to use that hashtag. And they will let you know by those little suggestions that come up as you start typing if that hashtag exists. If it's a popular one, the more popular it is, the better. But make sure you're using one that is appropriate to the post. Don't just put in a hashtag because it's big and popular and then have the post have nothing to do with that. Okay. So why would I put that in? Well, this is my professional profile. And so it's just a way of, here's a group that I might gravitate to. And, these are some of my people who are interested in these kinds of things. If this had been something about, I don't know, Eric Clapton, then I would have, put in, what, 80s rock or something like that, whatever that interest group is. And that helps draw people to you. So that's part of the branding that you can do there. And now I could just say share if I didn't want to put any more hashtags in, or I could say something about that particular thing. I could even put in, it's an IKEA set, right? Okay, everybody shops at IKEA, right? IKEA, look at there, 5.7 million IKEA posts. I'll put in IKEA and then I'll hit the share. Okay, now that's going to go on my feed that goes out to everybody that I know. Okay, now does it hit them all? No. A very, very, very tiny, minuscule number of the people that I know. There are things that you can do to boost that a little bit without paying a dime. For example, I'm going to share this again. I'm not going to share it again, but I'll show you another trick. You can say at followers. Okay, now you can see there followers of Jesus, followers, several groups there. But down here, there's this one that has this little gray profile. And you can only use this, see what it says there? Once a day. But once a day, you can do a post and you can say at followers. And more of the people who are your Facebook friends or your followers will see that post than if you don't use it. Will they all see it? No, they won't. If you've got 2 friends out there, they probably still won't see it. All of them, at least. There's an algorithm, but this boosts you up in that algorithm a little bit. And it doesn't cost you a dime to use. You can use it once a day. All right. So we're going to cancel this and not post it. Yeah, I'm going to discard that. So I've already posted it. I could go back into that post, edit it, and put the at followers in, but I've already used my 1 time a day. Nothing tells you that, oh, sorry, you've already used this today. So if you accidentally put it in 2 posts, nothing bad happens. It just doesn't help on the 2nd one, 3rd one, or 10th one that you do. Okay, no, the at followers police are not going to come and get you. All right. Any questions? If you've got a question on what we've covered so far, go ahead and put that into the chat or raise your hand. I do have participants up on the side here. So if somebody raises your hand, I may see that. If not, maybe Mr. Morrison will see it and will chime in and let me know that you've got a specific question that we can answer right there.
And I do want to apologize. I had done a post up there that I was testing out a button on Stream Deck. I hit it and it posted it in there. It worked, just I didn't want it in there, right?
Okay.
So I'm just seeing I see several people shared their Facebook pages, and
Good.
you know, I just on that topic, Rick, is that when you're creating a business and a personal profile, we have to remember that you're talking to a broad-based audience, and if you voice opinions which can be considered to be, you know, certainly your decision how you want to handle that, but it's oftentimes better to stay into those conversations like we were raised about. You don't ask people about their money. You don't ask people about their religion. You don't ask people, you kind of keep it very lukewarm and friendly to most of the crowd. Not that you don't want to be yourself, but just be aware that what you do post stays on the internet. What you post can offend somebody. So if you're going on Facebook trying to please everybody, you may as well just go back to reading the paper, because there's somebody who's gonna flag you, tag you, and try to sack you. So
Yep.
anyway, just keep that in mind.
Mhm.
It's a liberal platform that oftentimes make judgments and reads between lines that you didn't really mean to say one thing, but they determine it is. So
Yeah.
your business page and your personal pages as separate entities.
Hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. And that is the good thing about it, is that you can, if you've got, opinions, ideas, thoughts you want to share out there, you can do it through a group. You can do it through a Facebook page, and at least create some separation space. Now, can they find out, oh, this is the person who owns that page? Yeah, they can. But it does create a little bit of a barrier, a little bit of space that, makes it a tad bit safer. So, um, all right. So let's go ahead here and go to the next entity. So we talked about your Facebook profile. And as I say, mine is a professional profile. It doesn't look any different. The only thing is I can do things like, and this may have changed because I don't have a profile that's not a professional profile, but at least in the beginning, if I wanted to create a post, let's just say I create this brand new post here, and we'll just put in, no, that's pretty controversial, isn't it? But I don't want to say this until tomorrow at 8 o'clock or whatever time I want. I can click on this right here and I can schedule that post. Another thing I have the ability to do is I have the ability to boost this post. Now, what does boost a post mean? Boosting a post simply means that you're going to actually pay Facebook a little bit of money or a lot of money. It's up to you how much you pay them, but they're going to now put that into the mix so that more people see that. And here's the cool thing, and this will get into more with your page than with your personal or professional profile. You can now say exactly who you want to see that. Okay. So for example, if you're posting, let's say about maybe you're in the makeup business, all right, and you're mostly selling to women. Oh, I don't know. Let's give them an age range. Let's say their 40s and their 50s. Uh, Women that are typically still out there in the workforce. They want to look good. So these are things that you know about this group of people. That hopefully that there are people that are like you. They're kind of in your area, your headspace. You know that better than you know other people's. All right. So if that's your space, you probably don't want to be putting up a page on, that directed at guys that like to go hunting, right? Or if you're a guy that likes to go hunting, you probably don't want to try and create a page that's directed at 40 to 50-year-old women who are more concerned about their looks and want the best makeup, the best do-overs, all right? So those are things you're thinking about. But you can say, here's who I want this to go to. I want this to go to people who are in my zip code. You can put your zip code in, or in my city, in my town, in my county, in my state. However wide or narrow you want that to be, you can limit it by that. Or you can say, you know what? I want this to go to people in the United States and Canada, but I only want it to go to men who are this age, women who are this age, and whatever else you want to put in. People who are interested in Harry Potter, you can put in areas of interest. You can put in business interests, people who are just interested in business. So you can look at people who are interested in part-time income. So these are categories and things that you can put in to say, here's who I want my post to be shown to. All right. That is very, very powerful. Imagine if you were to try to do that through a TV ad. The only control you would have is, are you going to be, now I'm going to date myself here. Are you going to be advertising on Captain Kangaroo, or As the World Turns, or The Wide, Wide World of Sports? Those are all shows that are probably from ancient past, all right? I don't know if they're on anymore or not. But if you choose one of those, that's your only ability to really start honing in. And then, of course, you can, to some extent, say, here's the area that I want. But up until things like Facebook, we didn't have this capability of branding and marketing ourselves at this kind of level. We had to spend big bucks. We had to have a TV quality ad made, which is expensive in and of itself. And then we had to get it on the right show at the right time of day in order to get to the audience that we wanted to reach. On Facebook and on Instagram and some degree on WhatsApp, you can say, you know what, I want this to go to this group of people. And you can define what that group is. You can define by age, by gender. You can specify interest. And so these are all things that you can do to say, here's my pond. Here's the pond I want to be the big fish in. And rather than being this tiny little minnow swimming around in the great Pacific Ocean. So you can decide, here's where I want to market. The closest thing you had was, you used to be able to do like postal mail types of advertising. And you could simply say, you know what, I want to send out these postcards or this mailing piece, and I want to go to every household or to every business in this zip code. And that was a $5,000 area shot to do that. So give or take, and it might have been anywhere from like $2,000 to $10,000 to get that little area. And depending on where you are, if you're in New York City, it might cost you more than that. All right. But in areas that I've lived in and looked at that, that's what it would cost to advertise. So what you want to do, what is that one thing that I can do? Well, we just talked about boosting posts and boosting posts on your Facebook page. So one of those three items that you're going to do, that you can do today if you haven't done it already, is you can go out and simply build a Facebook page. And it's easy enough to do. You can simply go up either to your profile or you can go on the right side, left side of your screen, and there should be a link there for you to be able to say, I want to build a page. And then you just start filling in the form, and you can tell it all kinds of information about what you want that page to be about. So step one, build a page. All right. And then let's come back to our slides for just a moment here and make sure that we are in the right place. So you're going to curate, promote, and track, and you're going to do that at business.facebook.com. So this is going to be step two. Step two is you're going to go to business.facebook.com, and you are going to drag this over here. All right. And you're going to build your Facebook page. There we go. There's somebody who has a Facebook page. Some of you might even know this gentleman. He's a good friend of mine. And so we helped him build a business page for his business. If you're in the Fresno, California area and you need something done, give Alan a call. All right. There you go. Let's see. What are we going to charge Alan for that little ad right there? I don't know. But at any rate, no, I owe Alan big time, I'll tell you. So he's comes over every once in a while, all the way from California, and helps me with my honeydew list. So I appreciate him. So we try and reciprocate. But this is a page that we built for Alan, and it talks just a little bit about him and his construction business. And I could create a post right now for Alan, and it would go out there on the internet, and people who like his page would be able to see it. Now, we don't have a lot of followers right yet. You can see there are 2. But if we were to start promoting that, we could up the number of followers. And even though there are only 2 followers, we could certainly promote posts that would go to people who are not yet his followers. Here's the neat thing, and pay attention here. When you post as your Facebook page, your business page, and people like your post because you shared it on your profile or because you did an ad, it's going to show up in that post. You know, any post that you put out right now, it will tell you how many people liked it, hated it, whatever the reaction was. It'll show you that. When it's for a Facebook page, most generally, it's going to allow you to invite them to like your page. Oh, you liked our post? Thank you. You might also want to like our page. And it'll literally bring up a little block on the page with the name of the Facebook profile that hit like, and you can and it'll have buttons that'll say invite if you are able and allowed to invite that person based on their profile security settings. Some people have settings that won't allow you to do that. So it's nothing you've done wrong if you don't see that come up to be able to invite them. And then it's going to show that they're either invited or that they accepted, that they're now a fan. And so that's one of the things that you can do to build the number of fans or followers that your page has. You can just start clicking on invite, invite, invite as people like the post. Okay, so you bring up the post, you click on the little number in the post that shows you how many people reacted to that post, and you look for invite buttons. And if it says invite, you click it, and that automatically invites that person to also like your page. Okay, Facebook does that for you on your behalf. You don't have any control over exactly what it says. It just says that that page has invited you to like the page. They didn't think of it while they're in there. All right. So you can do that. A great way to build your followers. All righty. So have you done that yet? If you've done that and you've already got a page, make sure you go to business.facebook.com. So let's go back here. And this just shows, now for me, I've got a lot of pages that I do manage. I say a lot. It's not very many compared to people who do this for a living, but I've got a few. And so it's going to show me all of the pages that I have either created or that I manage or help manage on behalf of someone else. And you notice one of the things here is it's got create a business portfolio. So that's another item. We're not going to talk about that today, but there's just another thing that they've added. So I could go to any of the pages that I have control over, and it shows me, oh, you've got activity here. It's somebody's liked it, somebody has messaged the page, and whatever reactions are happening, it lets you know. So you can go here and you can manage all of those items. So messages coming into the page, people that liked the post, you can go there and manage that. You can create the post, you can create stories. Some of the other things you can do from business.facebook.com is you can go to the business to the ad planner, and that's a cool little calendar. So if you're wanting to schedule a post, then you can do so from here. Here's what I recommend, because this can take time. What I would say is you plan on that time, whatever time that is that you've got, and say, this is my time to work on my business page. One of the activities you're going to do is I want to put out posts. What am I going to post on? So one of the activities that you will do is to simply write down all of the different things that you could post on. What kind of things can I post on? Well, let's see. I can post something about myself. I can post something about my business. I can post something about my why. I can post something about some feature of my business. Here's what I recommend, though, that you put high up on that list. What kind of problems, issues, concerns, worries, interests would your potential clients have that would draw them to your product? So let's just say that you're in the hardware business and you sell drills, you sell drill bits, and you have this one drill bit that's made of carbide steel. It's super strong, long lasting, won't react to getting overheated and get dull all of a sudden, won't lose all of its important properties because you abused it, and it drills 1/4-inch holes. Right? Well, that's fine, but none of those features are going to be important unless the person wants to drill a 1/4-inch hole in something that a carbide bit would be the best solution for. So you want to speak to the issues, the problems, the pains, the sufferings, the hurts that your clients have that your product or your feature of a product can solve, because that's what they're looking for. They're not looking for a drill. They're not looking for a 1/4-inch drill. They're not looking for a 1/4-inch carbide drill, unless they're just all familiar. But have you ever had this problem? You pull your drill out, you want to mount this beautiful wall hanging on your garden wall, but it's made of bricks and the bit overheats and it won't drill a hole. And you spend hours and, you know, it just doesn't work out. It's frustrating. Now you're poking the bruise. We've talked about that before, have we not, on this program? You're poking the bruise. Isn't that frustrating? Well, we can solve that. So you start with the story about the issue or the problem. So those are great prompts for posts. So now you've got your prompts. Now you can create some posts. What are you going to put there? Are you going to put a picture with it? Are you going to create a video? Whatever that creative part is, that's going to consume another time block. Here's the neat thing. With this calendar, you can go and do that for the entire month. And let's keep it simple. Let's not start out with a full-blown 3-minute commercial that tells people and brings them right in. Let's start out with just some text posts that help them get familiar with you, help them know you, help them know, like, and trust you, right? Just text. Maybe a picture of your friendly smiling face might be good. So you can start putting those out. And with this planner, you can go ahead and say, you know what? I want to create a post, but I want to see the whole month here. And I want to go ahead. Today's the 7th. So I want a post to go out on Wednesday. So on Wednesday, I can schedule a post. I can schedule a story. Do you know what those are? Anybody here that doesn't know the difference between a post and a story, go ahead and let me know. Raise your hand if you do not know the difference. Okay. So in the event that somebody's out there that is listening to the replay. Okay. All right. So Janet is let's see. So go ahead and unmute. Are you saying you don't know the difference between the two?
No, I do not.
Okay, good. All right. So let's go ahead and explain that real quickly. I'll explain it by going back here. All right. These are all stories up here. If I wanted to create a story, I could easily go right here and do it, but I can also do it for my page over on business.facebook.com. All right. So I can put a story here for this profile right here. If I were at one of my other profiles, let's see, let's actually go to Alan's. Let's see if I go to facebook.com/Alan Brett's Construction. Okay. And now you can see I'm logged in as myself right now. However, if I were to switch, if I were to go here and say, no, I want to identify myself on Facebook right now as Alan Brett, I could do that because I created the page. All right. So I have ownership rights to the page. So I could be Alan right now. All right. And if I did that switch, then I would have the ability to click a plus sign and add a story just like I can right here. It would have the same deal right here, add a story. Okay. A story is something that only stays up for 24 hours and then it's gone. Well, why would I want to do that? Well, simply because more people see stories these days than anything else. And you can actually link your profile page and your Instagram account, your professional Instagram account, not just your personal one. Your professional Instagram account would be coupled with your Facebook page, and you can post them both, the same story, at one time so that your Instagram followers see it, your Facebook followers see it, and now you've got two different environments that you can work with. Okay. Okay, yes. Stop stealing Alan's identity. You're You're absolutely right. I can. I have the power. So that's something that you can do. You know, if you create a page for somebody else, then you can act on their behalf. You'd pretty much have to be able to do that to do anything for them. All right. That's the way that story works. Stories last 24 hours. They appear up at the top, and people sometimes that's all they do on Facebook is they go watch people's stories. The neat thing is they appear one after the other and they automatically play. So and some people in their stories, they'll post multiple things. So you might see, you know, a lot of content there. Other people, they post one thing in their story and that's it. I tend to post when I create a story, I'll put in one thing, maybe 2 or 3 things at the most. I don't try and pack it. I've gone to people's stories where I actually skipped over their story because it's like, I'm sorry, I like you, I'm interested in you, but not that much. I wasn't planning on spending the rest of my day watching what you thought I should see as important. So that's something to think about. When you're creating a story, when you're creating a post, what do the people out there want to see? And usually it's not so much about you, what you do, as it is about them and the issues and problems that they might have that you can solve using your products, your service. All right. So those are things to keep in mind. All right. And this going right here. And pressing some
Where,
buttons here. Yes.
how do you create a story?
How do you create a story? That's a good question. That depends on whether you're on your phone or on your desktop. If you're on your desktop, you would simply click that plus sign. All right, now it says, do I want to leave the page? So I've obviously done something here that I haven't completed. So I'm going to say, yeah, it's okay. All right. And here I have the ability. Now, this is a unique ability on the desktop. I can choose to create a picture story, or I can choose to create a text story. If I'm doing this on my phone, the text story option doesn't appear. So I could literally go right here and I can simply start typing. And I'm typing into this box and say, this is a simple text story. All right. And I could post that and share that to my story and it would go out just like that. So that's why I mentioned earlier, you know, just start with simple text. So here's something that's, it could be philosophy statements. It could be, you know, statements about ideas that are important that you think will be important to the people you want to attract, not just important to you, important to the people that you want to attract. Okay, there's a distinction there. All right. And it should be things that are important to you too, but not just important to you. All right. So you do it from their perspective. If you're posting on something that you feel is important, how would I word this if I wanted someone else who felt this same way to become interested? So try and
Oh,
turn yourself around, almost like going with your phone in selfie mode. You know, you can take a picture out in front of you, or you can hit that little button and say, I want to do a selfie here. Well, you want to turn it around, not do a selfie. You want to project out into the world. It's like, what's important to the people on the other side of my camera or on the other side of my phone? Okay. So that's important when you're putting information out there. Does that
so I
help?
could also put like a little flyer or something like that out there as well. Is that correct?
You could. You can. Now, it's just remember that as a story, it's going to go in this portrait mode, not the landscape mode.
Okay.
So it's longer top to bottom than it is right to left. if you put a landscape picture in there, then it's just going to be a block kind of in the middle. It'll let you do that, but it will not fill the entire page.
And how do they put the multiple stories in there? Like you were just saying, you don't want to see someone that they're giving a whole life story. How do they, what do you do to, like if you want to have 3 or 4 images or whatever, videos?
Good question. So let's X this out. We're going to discard this story. I'm going to go back here. And if you've got a story, it's going to appear here, but you're still going to have the plus sign so you can add one. All right. So I could say, let's put in another one. And again, it can be on, if you're on your desktop, you can do text or photo. You can do photo, text, whatever you want to do there. But you just add another. Or if I say create a photo story, it's probably going to, now I haven't done it this way that much, but it's probably going to come up and let me do, yeah, okay. So let's just say, if I do more than one image, okay, no, it's only letting me put in one image at a time. Okay, so I've got different images in here. Oh, look at that good looking character there. Who's this? Okay, there. So I could put any of those. I could put that image into the story and see it pops it right in there.
Mm-hmm.
And so I could just put that in. I could say, this is my story. And I can now share that.
Okay.
One of the things you can't do from this particular spot is add a video. How many of you have seen video stories? You've already seen,
Well,
you know, it's
that's
possible to
usually
do.
what I see.
Yes, that's usually what you see, but it allows you to select photos from this particular spot. Okay. However, if I go back to my planner, or if I'm just at the home screen and I say create a post or a story, let's go ahead and create a story here. Okay, you notice it says add photo or video. So on your business.facebook.com, you're able to do that. So here I can add a photo or I can add a video. Right. And up here, I've got this little drop down and you can see it's got the option to add the Instagram. So I could post on both platforms at one time if I had a connected Instagram page. Now we haven't created an Instagram account for Alan's business, so it doesn't, that's grayed out. But if this were one where there was one, or we could connect an Instagram account because it existed, then I could do that and post to both places at one time.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for asking that question. It made the presentation richer. All right. So you can do that from here. So you have more options. It's just what's convenient for me to do right now. Do I just want to do this one, or am I planning for an entire week or for an entire month? If you're going to do it for, a longer period of time, or you don't want it to go out immediately, then you definitely want to be using the business.facebook.com or the Meta Business Suite in order to do that. It just gives you a lot more options and a lot more flexibility. But then you don't have the ability to do a text post here. So 6 to 1, half dozen to the other, or I mean a text to story, I apologize. You can do a text post. So let's go back home and just say create a post. And now, yes, you can create a text post on Facebook. Instagram is a video and picture driven platform. You can't do a text post unless you've turned the text into a picture. If you create some text, turn that text into a picture, and then you can put that picture on Instagram as a post. But it expects a JPEG or a PNG file or one of the other formats that it will accept. Okay. All right. So we went to business.facebook. So, oops. So from your professional profile, from your page, or from your meta dashboard, you're able to create posts. You're able to create stories. Stories are short-lived, but they can be very powerful and they can be repeated. So let me talk about that because we're really hot on this idea of branding and we're coming down to the wire on our time. So I want to make sure that I cover this. You don't have to come up with something absolutely 100% brand new with every post. Think of any ad that you've seen that's helped ensconce a brand into your brain. How many times have you heard it? Just once? Did they come up with a different jingle every time? Did they come up with a different graphic every single time? Now, over a period of time, they did. But for the most part, it's what they repeated that stuck. So when you're branding, you are repeating. So here's what I would suggest. For a lot of you looking at the makeup of the people that are on our call today, here's what I'm going to tell you. In your local marketplace, your face is probably the image that you want to put out there more than anything else. You're going to be like the person you're going for groceries and you see that little placard because you don't have a kid with their legs sticking out, kicking you in the stomach in the shopping cart. So you see that little placard in the seat where you're going to put your purse or your immediate items right there up there at the top. And it's got somebody's face and it says insurance or it says real estate or, they're branding their self in that marketplace. All right. This is your opportunity to do that. So get a picture that you like of yourself or a series of pictures. Take a bunch and take those pictures and then put words with them that are important, that are your philosophy, your ideas, things that you think are going to be important to your audience. And you put those in, and then, let's say you're on that calendar page. Let's go back to the calendar, the planner. Okay, you're on here, or take a look at the month. And so every Monday, I'm going to add that same one in. Monday. It won't let me go to the 2nd because that's in the past. So on the 9th, on the 16th, on the 23rd, on the 30th, every Monday, I'm going to put one of those in. My picture, maybe a different saying, maybe the same saying, but that's one way that you can brand yourself deeply within your community. So that's just one of the ideas that you can utilize there. Don't feel like you have to have absolutely brand new content when it comes to branding. It's the repetition. You want them to know, like, and trust you. That means that, if they don't remember you, remember your face and associate your name with it, guess what? They don't know, like, and trust you yet. So in the world of branding, I would definitely do that. In terms of drawing customers in, and I want to get there before we leave you today. So we've talked about building your page. We've talked about building your Meta profile account. And then finally, we want to talk about, well, how do I actually get a lead? You know, some of us go out there and buy leads from organizations. And what do we find out? Very, very often we find out that those leads are overused and ineffective. Well, what if you could get your own? The answer is you can. All right. So all you need to do is when you start to create a post, let's go ahead and we will, let's go back here and let's simply say we're going to create a post and we're going to schedule this post. I don't even know what we'll put in there just yet. All right. But that time, that's fine. Okay. That's when we're going to do that. All right. And we're going to go ahead and say we're going to add a photo. We're going to upload it from the desktop in this case. And we're just going to find one as soon as it comes up. And I'm going to go ahead and choose that again. Okay, so I've got this picture, Mr. Keith himself, and I'm going to put some text in here with that. And oh, good, I didn't misspell that. All right, so it's scheduled. It's going to be public. All right, and so some of the things that I can do, now this goes to Alan's account, which we aren't going to do. But I can also choose, let's see here. I could add photos to this. You asked about earlier, how can I put more photos on? Here you can add additional photos, so it becomes a little bit of a multiple photo deal, so almost like a carousel. Here's what's really neat. Facebook may show them the same ad if you put multiple pictures in multiple times. But if they looked at one photo and didn't click on to the next ones, it's going to show one of the other photos. Maybe that one will be the one that'll attract their interest. So it's pretty cool little automatic thing that they can do. All right. I can choose my privacy, and then I can go ahead and schedule that post. Now, because it's going out to my Facebook page, it's going out fairly generally. So there's some additional options if I'm going to actually promote that post. So let's go find, let's see here. Let's change entities here. And let's go to, let's see, let's go to 30-second. Yes, we're going to discard that. Going to leave the page. You won't have to do this if you only have one page. Okay, and what I want to do is I want to see my content. I want to look at posts that are already out there. All right. And let's see if I've got one that I can, that it'll allow me to promote. Let's go to the chamber. Okay, here we go. All right, good. All right. So you see here, this is actually one that I had posted earlier today, and it's actually got a boost button. All right. So boosting is where I'm going to take an item that I've already posted, and I'm going to try and boost it. I want to pay money to go ahead and have this being shown to more people. My goal is set to automatic, but I can change that. And when I change that to get more leads and save that, then Facebook is going to automatically take me through a process that will help me generate leads, and it will allow me to start asking questions. And you can simply go through the process here. That's the neat thing about this. As our time winds down quickly, it's going to just automatically say, well, what information do you want to have? I mean, here's the general stuff that's available: name, phone number, email address, a couple of general principles. The less information you ask for, the more likely you are to get some. But usually you want at least their name and phone number and email address, or name and email address. So again, if you eliminate the phone number from your request, you're more likely to get more responses with email addresses. But how do you do that? Because you're going to give them some value. So this is where you would take something that you have that could be valuable to them. It might be a brochure, it might be a guide, it might be something that you've produced, it might be something that is industry standard, but it's something that you have that you can deliver electronically, and you simply gather the information that you need to be able to deliver that to them, and you ask for their information. When they put their information in, then you deliver on that content. You either send them that piece of electronic information, and I haven't tried this yet, but you could probably even do that with physical information. Ask them, where would you like me to send it? Don't ask them for their home address. Ask them, where would you like me to send this? You asked for it. I've got to send it to you. Where do you want it sent? So with that, that's the third thing that you can do, is you're actually now building a form. And in that form, you're able to ask them for information. That's a live lead for you. That's a lead that only went to you. It's not a lead that went to 10 other people or 1,000 other people that bought the same list. So it's a good fresh lead. So if you learn the right ways to attract the people who are in the audience that you want to speak to, then you can create your own leads using this. Now that can also, we're not going to get into be able to get into this because of time constraints, but you can actually usually tie that to your customer relationship manager or your CRM tool, your emailer, and by that means, now those people are in your list automatically so that you can remarket to them. That also means these are now your leads on another platform, not on Facebook. And now, though, you have ownership of that list. They've given you permission to touch bases with them in some shape or form. And until they say stop or unsubscribe, then you can continue to do that. So you can build your own market, you can build your own list. So the three things that we've taught you to do today is, let's go back to those and make sure that we've covered them properly.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yes, you may.
How much do those leads typically cost? Have you used that system?
What I just showed you,
Yes.
all it costs is whatever you pay to promote that ad.
Do you know the approximate cost?
That, well, you can do it. They want you to spend at least $2 a day, and they
Oh,
want you to at least advertise for a day, one or more days.
really?
So I don't remember if they've got like a $5 minimum, but literally when
But
you
it's not
create
100.
a promoted, no, it's not 100, it's not 1,000, it's not 5,000. Let's run through this quickly. Let's do a different one so we don't have to go through the process. Let's just say we'll go ahead and leave it at automatic and save. And so that's fine. All right, so there's our ad text. And let's just say we want to go down here and we want to learn more button. Fine. Okay, we'll just say, yeah, learn more. Okay. We're going to take them to the website, Ahwatukee Chamber of Commerce. That's fine. All right. Advantage audience, or we can say, you know what? I want to build a new audience. I can target people through targeting, or I can say, you know what? Show me all the lists that I built in the past. And these are ones where you've built the list, said, here's the interest groups I want, and I want to save it as a named list. All right. So I could do that as well. All right. So in this case, I want this to run from today, September 7th, and I'm going to run it for 7 days. And my budget is $14. Now let's see if it'll let me go lower. That's 7 days. Okay. All right, someplace along here. Right, it's still allowing me to go down.
Wow.
Okay. So what's your budget? This is what is so great. Now, understand that if you market to 5 people, it's still going to be pretty random, no matter how you've tried to narrow your market in. And you're probably not going to get a lot. I would say, you know what, go ahead and spend $5 or $10 just so that you say, I've got some skin in the game. I've done it. I've spent money. I've gotten over that hurdle. Okay, now let's get serious. How much money do I want to invest to reach the people I want? Okay, that didn't do it. All right, I didn't get any responses like I wanted to. All right, I want to go back to that ad while it's still running, and I want to add to the budget. This isn't attracting enough people. What's your tolerance? What do you feel its value is? But you also want to look at, is my message right? Is my offer right? Am I asking the right things? So all of those things play into that, not just the budget. So don't go spending $1,000 on a lousy ad for something that people don't want. But the neat thing is, this allows you to do that in little increments and test things out. And hey, there are big companies, Coca-Cola will come here. They spend a lot more than $15. They probably spend $15,000 to figure out if they want to spend $15 million, because yes, the ad worked on Facebook, but you can do that same thing on a smaller scale. And with this, you can say, here's my pond. Small, local area physically, or local area in terms of idea or content or interest. And I can say, this is my marketplace. This is the pond in which I want to be the big fish. How do I be the big fish? I market there. I add value there. More importantly, I add value there. Put that note down. I add value there. What value do I add? How do I do that? Those are the questions you want to answer for yourself and for your business. Okay, so I think we've pretty well covered the 3 things, the 3 steps that you can take to help brand yourself so that people know, like, and trust you, and the ability to build a lead by promoting a post through all of the tools in your Meta account. All right. Branding, become a trusted household name amongst homeowners ages 30 to 55 in 85044. And oh, that should have been 48. Just, in other words, there's an example of the pond that you can define for yourself, and you can get leads. So this is my contact information. If anybody sees this and wants to get a hold of me, you can do so. If you scan the QR code that's on there, it's going to ask you for your information. Your information, whatever you put in there, will go into my CRM, and you'll get an email from me thanking you for that. And You will also then get my information. So if you're doing this obviously on your phone, you can hit the save button and save my information right to your phone contacts. All right. And then I also will invite anybody seeing this to go ahead and use the offer here for a free session with me. If you say, you know what, this is cool, but I still don't know how it works for my business. How does it work for me? I'll spend 30 minutes with you and we will talk about that in particular. We'll talk about you. We'll talk about your business, about what your goals are, and how you can begin to apply the things that we've taught here today into your world, things that you can do yourself without having to hire somebody to do it. Just remember, your goal is to get to the point where you have to hire somebody to do it. You don't want to reach CEO-dom in reality and still being the one to have to take out the trash and to do the Facebook ads and to do all the marketing and all of the promotions. Just think of it this way. A great book that I read, I can't even think of the name of it off the top of my head right now, but it talked about envisioning your business the way you want it to be. And you have a CEO, you have a CFO, you have a chief technology officer, you have all of these different hats. And today you may have to wear them all, but they are different hats. And eventually you get to the point where you say, I'm hiring an accountant. They now wear the accounting hat. I don't wear that anymore. I've given that responsibility to the chief marketing officer. Yeah, they take care of all that Facebook stuff. I don't do that. That's where you want to get to, where you're actually hiring people to do that for you. But in the beginning, especially being able to do it for yourself, Facebook makes it very, very easy. You can take these same principles to TikTok, the techniques and the strategies are going to be a little different, but you can take it to TikTok, you can take it to YouTube, you can take it to whatever platform you want to use. The tools and things that you've seen today are specific to the metaverse and the Facebook and Instagram platforms. So with that, my name is Rick Allen. This has been the Elements of Virtual Selling. And I want to thank everyone for being here. I'll entertain any questions that we can get to. Obviously, we are over time, but if somebody wants to stick around and ask a few questions, we will do that.
Rick?
Yes.
Yeah, just real quick for the audience listening. We're moving into the fourth quarter right now, based on today. So moving in the fourth quarter, if your business has been slacking and or maybe just not hitting the mark where it needs to, leveraging your time by leveraging an expert makes a lot of sense. And you can sit here and try to figure out all the details of what Rick covered here. But 30 minutes spent with Rick can add so much more clarity to what your objective goals are and to put a game plan for the next 90 days together to end your 2024, potentially with greater returns and greater penetration in your marketplace. So don't let a 30-minute appointment stand in the way of your exploring this as an opportunity. Don't put 30 minutes, block it on your calendar. And if you feel that the value is there, money will be well invested. And yes, you got to spend money to make money. Your ads can be tailored. They can be customized based upon to very finite audiences. And that's why, because of the stretch of mass media and Facebook, you're able to do this at such a really a nominal rate. I mean, it's pennies on. This is cheap. This is cheap. The cheapest form of advertising used to be a business card. The cheapest form of advertising now is a Facebook ad, properly generated and put in place. Take advantage of Rick's offer. I think that you will get, if nothing else, conversations with an expert in the area of promoting your small business and becoming more virtually impressive. All right. Thanks, Rick. Appreciate everyone that's been here today.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Keith. Appreciate that. All right. Any other comments or questions? If there was something of great value that you got out of today's session, go ahead and raise your hand. We'd love to hear that. Okay, Janet, go right ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
I just want to say that great training. I've read information on Facebook, but having a recap and taking it step by step was very helpful. And also the value, how you teach it and what you offer, and simplifying. I look at the simplification. We don't have to complicate it and go step by step. And then, like you said, reaching out, there's no dumb questions, except the one we don't ask. And finding what our purpose in using it, and in branding. One of the things you will keep for teaching is how do we brand ourselves and separate ourselves from the pack. We want to look at the image, looking at the verbiage, looking at also compliance, making sure you're not doing anything that's going to get you off. Appreciate all that you both teach, and definitely following. But right now, what I'm doing, I'm putting my game plan together. So when I do get with you, whether it be 15, 30 minutes, I already have an eye what I can do, and I will love to take a rating pen like an English teacher, mark it up and say, good to go, let's try it over here before I go up there and do a public posting where everybody's going to see it. And someone said, did she have taken the time to edit that before she posted? So I want to make my mistakes in front of you guys before I go universal. Thank you for all you do.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that. All right. Anyone else? Real quickly before we go ahead and let everybody go. All right. I heard a pop. Okay, Estella, go ahead.
This was extremely beneficial for me because I had no clue that I could do some of this stuff. And I'm looking forward to having a 30-minute conversation with you. I know you've helped me in the past, and I appreciate Keith's admonishment for us to get the wisdom that we need to get, even if it costs, something, because it's going to cost you something whether you do it or you don't. If you don't do it, then you don't get the money. If you do it, it's going to cost you something to get the money, but you're going to make more money.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. And that is the goal. Thank you, Estella. I appreciate that. Anyone else? All righty. Well, then I think it's probably time to just say thank you to everyone. Get the music going here and say have a great rest of your weekend, a good week ahead, and let's make this fourth quarter coming up strong. And we're on our way. Everything that you do right now is your preparation for that strong fourth quarter, end of the year. Wow, can you believe it? It's just wasn't it yesterday we were talking about starting the first quarter, starting a new year, and here we are at very, very close to the end of another one, going on to 2025 soon. So with that, we'll bid you adieu. Thank you everyone for being